Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Machine Builder, and today I have a very epic program I wrote to show you. Basically what this program does is it lets you build whatever you want in any of your worlds, and then you can save that build into a bunch of JSON files that you can then put into a behavior pack, and then that build will spawn out in your worlds. So basically you can build your own custom generating structures, kind of like a desert temple. You can make your own desert temple, and it will spawn in worlds that you add the behavior pack to. It's very cool. Anyway, so let's get right into it. So first things first, we're gonna make a build. So I'm just gonna build some form of fossil, kind of like those, but a little bit different to add some interest. Okay, how do I want to do this? I kind of want to make it look like a skull, but that's going to be very hard. Maybe I'll stick to a rib cage on the ground. That is our structure. And so once you've finished building the structure, you're going to stand near it, or just like on it, and then write down the coordinates so that you can import them into the program. 30, 5, 18. Cool. Now you can leave the world, and then remember the world name. So this one's called copy of world. So now you can then open up the program that will be in the description. And it's loading. It'll open up this window, and you just have to wait for it to load. There we go. And you can see it downloads a few files from the internet, just a list of biomes, and also some biome presets, but that's fine. So now once the program's open, you have this GUI. And you can now select your world from this list of your world files. So mine's copy of world, but in case you don't have this list, like it didn't work, then you can press browse files, and then you can select a world from, say, your downloads, and you can then click on something here, like this world is just the ID, and then you click the folder and press select folder, and then it will load in the path over here. But I'm going to import my copy of world, so you press select world and then load world into memory. Behind you should see some stuff happen, and then it should say complete twice. And now you should see two images being drawn over here, which are the previews, which are then displayed here. So now we have our previews rendering, and you type in the coordinates. So my coordinates were 30, and then X, Z, and Y. So Y was 5, and then my Z was 18. There we are. So here is the structure, and then you're going to select by left clicking any corner of the structure, and then right click on the opposite corner, and it will show you this box that you've selected. And then you can left click on the bottom block of the structure anywhere across the bottom, just left click, and then across the top you right click. So now it should have selected the whole thing, and you should see coordinates on the side, which is like the region that you've selected. Then you can go ahead and export it over here, and there's a lot of stuff here, but don't worry about it, because all you need is the overworld on land for this. So basically these are presets that automatically add in the biomes and the non-spawnable biomes. So if you were to do this, if you wanted a structure to spawn just on the beach, on any beach, you can then click beach, and then you press add to the spawnable biomes, and now the structure can spawn on a beach. If you want it to be able to spawn on everything but a beach, you would press overworld, add the overworld generation. And by the way, if you want to remove something, just click it from here, and then you can press remove. So now it spawns in the overworld and the overworld generation, but it still spawns in the beach. So you click beach, and then under blacklisted biomes, click add, and now it won't be able to spawn in the beach. If you want to remove them, again, click them, and then click remove, or you can click remove all, or you can click add all, which adds in all the biomes. These presets basically just have defined things in them. So if we want mountains, it adds in all the mountainous biomes. But if we want overworld on land, it will add in everything and then remove lakes, oceans and rivers so that it doesn't spawn in water. You can then set your name of your structure. So I'm going to set it to that. You can align your structure to the chunk, which basically means, well, when it's not ticked, the structure will be spread out randomly throughout the chunk, but when it is ticked, it'll be in one spot. So we're going to leave it unticked so it's more random, and then you can press generate all 4 rotations, and basically what that does is it generates 4 separate structures, each rotated 90 degrees from the original, so that basically when you spawn into your world, you'll have different facing structures. Otherwise it would just be the one you built and it would only be facing that direction. It doesn't work for blocks like doors, chests, furnaces, anything that can be rotated as a block doesn't actually work currently. It only does full blocks. So it's a bit weird, but it's there if you need it. And you don't have to worry about this because I'll go through that a bit later. You can also change the offset of the structure. So I want the fossil to be in the ground. So I'm going to lower it down by -3 blocks. There we go. So it's on 0x, -3 in the y, and 0 in the z. So it'll be lower down in the ground. And then spawn placement setup, I want it to spawn on the surface, but -3. Any of these don't matter yet. They only actually apply. So if you want something to spawn underground, you can set the minimum height it spawns at. So we want to spawn at y20, and the maximum height it spawns at. So we want to spawn at 50. So it'll spawn between 20 and 50 blocks underground. But I want it to spawn on the surface, and if the surface is selected, these don't apply. If the sky is selected, then these apply. And if between set y coordinates is selected, then these apply. But I want to spawn on the surface. You can change the percentage chance that it will spawn for each chunk that's generated. A chunk is 16 by 16 blocks, by the way. So I want it to spawn 15% chance per chunk that's generated. And there we are, so that should be it. We have a generate in the overworld. Okay, so this is me after recording it. While editing it, I realised I forgot something quite important. So if you want to add your own biomes into the game, and you have biomes in a behavior pack, you can add the biomes to this list. Say you added like some candy biome, and you gave the biome the tag candy, then when you open up the feature rule generator, it will load in that biome that you've added into that list. There we go. So if I were to just quickly select some random chunk of world, there we are, there's something selected, and you can see biome tag appears here. So if you want to add your own custom biomes, just add them into this list, and it should all appear in the program. Also, if you want to add your own biome presets, you can open the biome presets local.json in any text editor, and you can edit it over here. So say you wanted to add a biome preset called potato, and it will add in any whitelisted biomes of, I don't know, say potato biome. So any biomes with the tag potato biome, and it will get rid of, and in the blacklist it will have any biomes called not potato. If you want to add more, just put a comma and then quotes around whatever you want to type. It's just JSON formatting. It should be okay. But anyway, now that you have that, you can go ahead and open up the program again, and your preset should load in. Here we go. So if we select any world and select some region and export the region, you have this preset called potato. You can add the preset and it will add in those spawnable biomes and the blacklisted biomes. And yeah, that's basically that bit done. Also, if you want to add more presets, you can just put a comma after that and just copy that bit, but make sure you have a comma after here, otherwise it won't work. Better to program in Visual Studio Code just so you can get the error messages. So if I didn't have a comma, it would give me a syntax error here. But anyway, yeah, you probably know how to do that already. And now you can press generate JSON files. And you should see here it was generating them And now I made two folders, output and output rules. In output, you have all of the files for each block, and then you can just copy those over into a behavior pack. So this is one I had before. I'm going to clear that out and paste it here. So everything from the output folder goes into the features folder in a behavior pack. So everything from output is now in here, and then everything in feature rules should come from the output rules. So copy everything from output rules into feature rules of a behavior pack. There we are, so now you should have those and those. And you can delete these two folders because they don't matter anymore. There we are, so now that that's done, you don't need this anymore. You can close it if you want, but I'll leave it open. Doesn't matter. And when you're selecting a region from a world, you have to leave the world first, because then it won't be able to test for stuff because the world's currently open, so you can't get previews. So if I make a new world, I'm going to call it fossils, and in this world fossils will generate creative, show coordinates, experimental gameplay should be on, and those can be off. There we are, so now it's in here. The warnings bit doesn't matter, that's fine. Anyway, yep, so this should all be correct. I'm going to turn off all these, doesn't matter. Experimental gameplay has to be on though, otherwise it won't spawn in structures. So now you press create world, and you will see, once the world decides to load, you've got structures. These fossils are spawning everywhere, probably a bit too frequently, but you get the idea. They spawn underground, 3 blocks down, so if these were up 3 it'd be 1, 2, 3, and it would have spawned there and up, but I set the offset to 3. And down here you can see there's one in the water. It actually would have spawned up here, but it moved down 3 anyway, so now it's in the water. Here we got more, and they're rotated differently as well. And now I'll show you another example to make a custom dungeon, or like a room that spawns underground. And I'm just going to quickly make something that has an air gap inside. Cobblestone. Hello. There we are, so this is like a very small room. And you can put whatever you want in here. Items won't stay in chests though, so if you make a chest, it'll be empty when the structure gets spawned. Anyway, so this is the dungeon. Once I get rid of this, and this. There we go, this is what it will look like. It'd just be a cobblestone box with an iron block in the middle. So you can close it off, and this is our spawning structure. So write down the coordinates, which is 41, 13 and 8. And now again you leave the world. I'm going to restart the program just so we can have it fresh. Waiting for it to load. There we go. Gonna select our world, load the world up, select our region, go to the coordinates, which is 41, 13, 8. Select our block region. If we're doing that with air though, so if we're making like an underground dungeon thing, then you should select from, you shouldn't select any air around the outside, make sure it's only the structure. And then again over here we can just do that and make sure it's only the structure. Make sure you don't select any outer air, because otherwise that will spawn in and it will like do some weird stuff. Anyway, so we have the structure. You can set the offset, we don't need an offset though. We're going to add in the overworld on land. So these are the biomes it will spawn in. anything but lakes, ocean and rivers. It also won't spawn in the nether. I'm not sure how that works. It just doesn't spawn in the nether. We can set it to spawn underground and set the minimum height to 20 and set the maximum height to 70. And then you can set scatter chance, which is the percentage chance it spawns in a chunk. So I want to make this kind of common just so you can find it pretty easily. So I'm going to set it to 30% chance per chunk. But it will be underground and at a random height, so it will be kind of hard to find, but I'm sure I'll come across it. So we have this, we're going to rename this to Dungeon 001, because this is the test dungeon. We don't need to generate all 4 rotations, but we can include air blocks, so that way the inside will be hollow. Now we generate, and it's done. We can then copy these output files back into the feature, and you can paste them alongside other already made structures, and I'll just add them to the list. And there we go, copy the rules, and put them into this behavior pack that already has the fossils. So the fossils will still be here, and we'll have dungeons. So now that's done, you should be able to open up the world with the behavior pack in it. And once it loads, and we have to get to an unloaded chunk, so somewhere we haven't already been. Came from that direction, I think. I'm not sure which direction we came from. So here we are, we're just going to teleport away. This should be an unloaded area. Yep, it's loading in. So we have these fossils still. And if we go down, into the ground, you should be able to find one. Here is one. This cobblestone box with the iron block inside. There should be more around here. Anyway, oh, here's another one. Yeah, you get the idea. They spawn underground. It's based on the frequency and height you set them at. So if you want to make a dungeon, you can do that. I will show you another example of making one that spawns kind of based on, like, based in the sky. So like an island. Oh, there's one over here as well. Anyway, so if you want to make like a floating island, you can do that too. So if I just go into here, go into copy of world, and this is where I build my structures, by the way. So now we're going to build an island in the sky. Just something very quick because I don't want to take too long. I've already been recording for more than half an hour. That looks okay. And I might as well put a tree up here as well. There we go. Now we have an island with a tree and a diamond block. So now we can leave the world. And over here we already have the world loaded, so we might as well do this. I didn't actually write down the coordinates. And it's done. Select the world, load the world. And over here we have our region. And we're going to go to these coordinates, 57, 16, and then over a bit to -11. There we go. It seems like I haven't actually added trees to the block list, so they don't render. But it's like roughly about that high. You don't have to be exact. Also, this entire thing, the top of it is grass, so it's very hard to find, but I think this is centered, so it must be that. I should have it in it. And I'm going to click up here, and click down here to select this whole area. There's the diamond block halfway through. You can see it because it's a side kind of view thing. So now we should be able to just export it, placement setup. I want it to be on land, and then change it to spawn in the sky. Sky minimum height, I want that to be 200, and it'll spawn at max 255. So it should spawn up in the sky. Spawn chance 20%, no, make it rare. 2% and generate all 4 rotations. Now we can generate our files, and you can see here it's generating 204, 304, 404, and it's done. There we go. And close it. Now just copy these files from output into our features. It's quite a lot of files. Go to output rules, take those, put them into feature rules. There we go, so now we have all those. Then you can just go ahead, open up your world with your behavior pack in it, or make a new one. As long as the features are in the behavior pack and experimental gameplay is on, it should all work. So now if I go up into the air, there we are. You can see already we have quite a few actually. That one kind of generated like above the build limit, so it cut off blocks, but you can always set the offset lower or change the maximum height it can spawn at. Anyway, you can see that it spawned here. There should be a diamond block in here somewhere. Here it is. Yes. And they spawn around. So if you were just wandering around, you'd see them pretty much everywhere. You can make them a lot more rare. Like 0.1% is good. Or like even lower than that. 0.05. Basically make them as rare as you want. Because these fossils are way too common. They're everywhere. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you want to, if you are feeling generous, please donate through PayPal, because I have spent hours on making this program. Like, I've been doing it for days already. Someone did donate, so I thank him very much. And yeah, there will be a link to my PayPal in the description. So if you want to use this software, just consider donating, because I've put a lot of work into it, and it really speeds up making structures. Anyway, thank you for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm trying to hit a goal of 100 relatively soon, because I've gotten like 20 pretty recently, so that's been good so far. But keep it up, and yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.